Mesdames et messieurs, bon après-midi et bienvenue à Cinéma Vérité. Une émission ressource Philippe Coriolan pour chaque dimanche après-midi à 5h sur Wsrf 1580 AM, 99.5 FM et nous connaissons depuis nos studios, nous live sur Facebook, nous live sur YouTube. Bien entendu, aujourd'hui, nous sommes supposés qu'on guest et on connaît cet temps-ci, toujours un empêchement. Depuis deal avec les gens qui sont dans le cinéma, et toujours à la dernière minute, il y a un bagage qui a fait, ou bien si c'est là où tu as fait un montage, ou bien un bagage quand même qui a passé, qui fait que pas de temps arrivé dans le studio. Ce n'est que partie remise, mais on connaît que l'on a préparé chose ça, pas qu'à préparer un seul sujet. Le fait que guest toujours a fait monter des scènes dans les affaires cinéma. Bon, aujourd'hui, nous allons parler de Oscar Night. Nous connaissons dans 2 semaines encore, nous allons avoir une opportunité pour nous sous red carpet, pour nous regarder Oscar Night. Et toujours dit nous que son activité très intéressante parce que pour les gens qui aiment le cinéma en pile, cinéfilm qui toujours à monter des scènes, son activité que gagne une grosse discussion. Gen dîner fait autour de l'activité ça, gen monde qui réunit ensemble, gen montée des scènes qui fait. Eh ben nous pral font ti décocher parler de lui pour nous capable voir prendre information yo parce qu'on gen 2 semaines bien entendu côté qu'on pral mettre qu'on capable à chercher information qu'on ka regarder film yo tout même si on prend une page ou regarder parce que c'est ainsi avec affaires streaming non les bonnes opportunités pour capable gain temps préparer ou regarder une série de films et si gain qui dans cinéma toujours ou font monter des scènes pour aller dans le cinéma pour capable préparer pour question on prend un petit break tout petit n'a tourner tout à l'heure. Mesdames et messieurs, bon après-midi encore et bienvenue à Cinéma Vérité, une émission ressource Philippe Coriolan pour chaque dimanche après-midi à 5h sur Wsrf 1580 AM, 99.5 FM pour nous venir parler des affaires cinéma, que ce soit que c'est en Haïti, dans le pays que nous faisons là, aux États-Unis, dans le pays que nous vivons là, et à travers le reste du monde là. Bon, je dis, je annoncé au commencement que je suis un guest, mais il est arrivé dans le studio. Mais étant donné que je commencé à parler de Oscar là, nous parlons fin couper et conversation. On a retourné encore l'autre semaine, si Dieu veut, pour nous capables plus ou moins bon plus de détails, étant donné que guest moi là. Et c'est le 15 mars, nous avons une opportunité pour nous garder les affaires Oscar là. Également, retourner plus sur les détails qui escape là et qui escape pour faire monter des scènes et qui escape host. Nous avons retourné à plus de détails ça yo, mais nous avons guest nous courtoisie côté nous parlons un petit parler ensemble avec parce que nous connaissons dans les affaires cinéma moi dit nous ça déjà toujours un paquet monter des scènes qui possibilité que c'est seul show nous avons une opportunité pour guests qui sont en retard. Mais nous pourrons le faire et interview en anglais, qui pourra mettre guests in English, was going to put our guests more comfortable. Are you comfortable, Joanne?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you are. Good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm great. How are you doing?
We're doing all right. Because, I mean, you are with an information like that. It doesn't matter what time you show up, I will have to put you on the air because it's not as easy. It's not easy for people to find. You know, they are giving money for them a scholarship for them to do art. to do a series of things in the community. We're going to talk about that, but before we start talking, you have to present yourself to my audience and tell me who you are, and then we're going to carry on.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm one of the managers of the scholarship portfolio for the Miami Foundation. So we go out into the community and promote the different opportunities that we have in terms of scholarships for education.
Okay, and what we want to know, because there's so many things, it's under Miami Foundation, correct? There's so many things they can do. Okay, why did they choose to go with that scholarship?
So we had a number of people within the community who wanted to make a difference as it relates to education. So they've come to us over the years and expressed a desire to establish a scholarship. So the scholarships that we have at the Miami Foundation are not necessarily ours, but we manage it for different fund holders within the community. So that's what we go out and promote. We actually have 10 that are open to the public.
10 different scholarships, and then what are they? And then, what is, you're going to explain to me, what did the person need to apply for?
Absolutely. So the 10 different scholarships have different eligibility requirements, and for the most part, they're open to graduating high school seniors.
Okay.
So we do have 2 or 3 that are open to students who might already be in school. CAP is one, for instance, that if you graduated from a Miami-Dade County public school, you would still be eligible to apply even though you're in college. And then the other 2 are if you are pursuing a law degree.
Okay.
And so besides those 3, the other scholarships, you would need to be a graduating high school senior currently in Miami-Dade County.
Is that there's besides the law degree, is there another subject the person has to be in, or it's open to anyone?
Yeah. So that's a good thing about the scholarships. Besides the 2 that are law focused, you can be studying whatever you want. It could be at a 2-year college. You could be going to a 4-year college. You could be going to a vocational program. We even have students who have studied abroad. Okay. One of our students last year, actually, she's studying in Spain, and the scholarship was able to support those studies in Spain.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about, because we talk about movies, we talk about art here. And someone might be listening to you, and then they said, okay, they are giving it to a high school student, or if you already graduate, you can go ahead and apply for it. If someone has a project in cinematography, is that something they can apply for it if they meet the criteria that you guys have set up?
So as long as the program or the school they're attending is an accredited school within the United States or even abroad, really, as long as it's an accredited program, they would be able to apply the scholarship money to those programs.
Okay. Okay, because I know Miami Foundation sometimes has special program for art, where they give opportunity. If you have a special program about something in cinematography or art, you can go ahead and apply for it. But this one is more open for different people to apply. Do you have some stories you can tell us that so we can motivate, because we want to motivate. It's not as easy. I mean, it's not that easy for this program to come in and promote it in the Haitian community. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, give me some example of the people that are applying for it, people that are successful at it. Give me some stories if you remember them. If you don't,
yeah, absolutely. So that's a really good question or point that you brought up. So last year and even the year before, we awarded $22.8 million. Across all of our scholarships. And even with us awarding that much money, we still had money left on the table that was not awarded because we didn't have enough students apply.
Okay.
So between these 10 scholarships that I'm mentioning that are open, some of them do have a GPA requirement, and some of them don't. So the ones that don't,
it's open to everybody.
The ones that don't, you have to respond. There's essays, of course, you have to apply. But those are really the ones that are a little bit surprising to me when I don't see more applicants, because there's no GPA requirement. There might be like a recommendation letter that's required, and of course the essay prompts. And even some of the ones that have a GPA requirement, I want to say it starts at 2.5 GPA, which is needed to graduate high school anyway. And then some of them do go up to like 3.5 GPA, but that one awards $7,000, for instance. So what I typically tell students when I'm talking to them in the community is to go on our website, and there's a guide that tells you exactly what you need to qualify for each scholarship. Take the time and go through each guide and apply for whatever you might qualify for. So maybe you qualify for 3 scholarships or 4 scholarships. Go ahead and apply, because I'm telling you, we leave money on the table every single
And then
year.
this is not a good thing. Let me say it in Creole. I mean, c'est pas un bon bagay.
Yeah.
Guys, c'est pas facile nous joindre au monde. Vin dans communauté qui parle ensemble avec nous pour dire nous exactement que gen kob qui là pour monde qui intéressé dans communauté que a ba un scholarship que qu'on a high school ou bien qu'on finit high school ou ka appliquer pour lui Miami Foundation, c'est lui même qui a manage fond là. Yo ba différents monde bay li, ben c'est yo même qui manage fond là pour yo capable faire avancer, pour yo capable bay et toute communauté a une opportunité pour y apply et son bail qui très 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 intéressant les wap font projet et pour qu'on ait pas gain comme la donne ou ka appliquer. Let me ask you a question while I'm saying this in English, and then something come in my head, because sometimes I know if you're a teacher and then you're doing a program, they not qualify on that for that scholarship, or there's something that, because sometimes they have something for teachers if you're doing art program, if you're doing a sport program, and then there's a scholarships or grants, if you want to call them, like that, they can apply for it. And I know some of my friends are teachers, they always after this type of things. If you have anything out of your, I know we're not supposed to be talking about that.
No, but we can discuss
But
it.
if you have something, in your head to help them out so they can go ahead and apply.
Yeah, absolutely. So not necessarily through the scholarship program, but we do have a grant funding program that's every 2 years for nonprofits. So if any of the teachers, and it could be any nonprofit in Miami, really, as long as you're in good standing, you can apply for these grants. So if it's a nonprofit, for instance, that is providing school materials to teachers, because we know oftentimes they have to come out of their pocket to buy stuff for the classroom. So that might be an example of a nonprofit that if you apply, if you submit the proposal, you may be able to get granted through that. So it wouldn't be necessarily to a teacher themselves, but if they had or are part of a nonprofit that does work to support students or to support the classroom, they would be able to apply for one of our grants.
Do you remember what? Forget. We just opened a parenthesis, guys.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about that. She will be back another day for us to discuss all these other scholarship, all these other grants. But we go back to the one that she's here for, that you guys have to apply for. Give me some dates.
Yeah.
When is it already open?
So they're open. Our scholarships typically open in January. So this current cycle, most of the applications are going to close March 15th.
March 15th, guys, 2 weeks.
Yes.
There we are.
So we do have one that closes March 24th, and then there's 2 that closes May 24th, I believe. So even if you've started an application, if you're listening and you started an application with us, like, we're sending emails out now, we're texting these students, like, submit the application, because you can start it and then save it and come back later, because some of them do ask for like transcripts and different documents. So you can start it, save it, get yourself some time to go get the documents you need, but come back to it and
before
submit it.
the deadline.
And the deadline, I think that's a Sunday at midnight. And every year we get so many students that, I missed the deadline because of this, because we cannot reopen it.
Okay.
So that's something I tell the student, and I tell the parents, because oftentimes it's the parents that are like, hey, what's going on?
What's going on there? Yeah,
we cannot reopen it. And another thing that we have encountered, and I want to make it a point to say this, is many of the scholarships require a recommendation letter from like a teacher or an advisor. So sometimes the student completed their application and they're waiting for the person to submit the letter. And then they call us and say, it was done, but if the person doesn't submit the letter on your behalf before the deadline, your application is incomplete. and we cannot reopen it.
But I mean, they have to remember too. Now these days is electronic time.
Yep.
You can email it.
Yeah.
They can email it right away, and then don't just tell the teacher or
Remind
anyone
them.
who is giving. You remind them every day. You remember, I need that thing. I need this, that.
Especially if you take into consideration like an advisor or a teacher, they're probably getting like 20 or 30 other students asking them for recommendation letters too. So it's okay to say, hey, remember that letter I asked you about last week? Put pressure on them, because unfortunately, if they don't submit it within time, we cannot reopen it for that reason.
Okay. Give us where to go. And
Absolutely.
then to apply for all these things, give us the information so they can go ahead and start putting it on their cell phone. You can start pulling the information so we can start the application right away. Where to go?
Absolutely. So you can access more information about the scholarships and the link to apply on our website. It's www.miamifoundation.org/scholarships.
Don't forget the /scholarship, because otherwise there's so many things Miami Foundation. I have to remind you guys, there's so many things Miami Foundation they are doing. You might be lost, not completely lost, but you might be lost on the website if you're just looking for scholarships. So when you put /scholarship, the things is coming right there, the application is coming right there, because before I do interviews, I try to make sure that everything that they are information they're going to give me, it's done, is there for you. So we'll advise everybody to just go ahead and do miamifoundation.org /scholarship. Very important to put that for you to be able to get the information, and right away you can start the information, and then next week you can start asking for anything that you're missing or anything that you have to get somewhere. So you got to make sure that you get it and send it. Let me do a reminder real quick in Creole, guys. C'est pas facile nous joindre dans la communauté haïtienne. Côté une organisation Vinchita, Miami Foundation, les Vinchita pour l'informer nous que gon scholarship qui plus que $2 millions, et année passée on a 22 millions $. Avec tout ça toujours, il aurait été comme nan men yo parce que pas assez monde qui appliqué. Et nous connaît travail 1580 AM 99.5 FM a fait dans communauté, c'est chercher pour nous porter pour quelle que soit façon pour capable connaître, pour capable grandir, pour nous capable avancer. OK, dans les affaires communautaires. C'est ça que fait nous dit comme ça que très très important, allez kounya dans miamifoundation.org, OK, .org/scholarship. OK, make sure que nous joignons toute information comment ça appliquer, et si il y a papier que nous besoin nous pour qu'on gagne, faire un jour dans semaine ça pour nous capable joindre, parce que deadline là c'est 15 mars pour nous get appliquer, n'a tout garder tout, si gagne l'autre bail que nous intéressé avec pour nous capable appliquer pour quel que soit ça n'a pas étudier. Sinon dans high school gaz scolaire appliquer. Sinon après high school nous fait graduate dans high school, ou bien nous pour aller dans law school, ou bien n'importe l'autre côté nous pour aller appliquer, parce que scholarship c'est très intéressant. You know, capable utiliser. They can even use it to for school.
Yeah,
if they
absolutely.
if they're doing a program and then they short of money, they can even use it for school for them to continue with that program.
We have so many students that write back to us and tell us like they would not have been able to go out of state had it not been for like this scholarship. Like their parents would not have been able to afford the full cost. And many of our scholarships are renewable, so it's not 1 year. You get it for 1 year, and then every year you just submit your re-eligibility, and then you get it again for an additional year, up to 4 years, many of our scholarships. So it's not like you get the money one time and then next year you got to figure it out on your own. That money is guaranteed for at minimum 4 years, at maximum, 4 years, as long as you continue to meet the eligibility requirements for that scholarship.
There you go, you guys. You got it. And then it's very, very important. Maman yo kap tande, papa kap tande, grand-mère, grand-père kap tande. Si nou gen yon nan ti moun yo nou konnen que qui intéressé, ou bien qui nan high school, olympique fait fini high school, font ti parler à maman, papa, ou bien si c'est eux qui responsable ti moun nan, font ti parler ensemble avec pour essayer ta capable appliquer pour activité ça yo pour le capable joindre un petit cob extra. ou pas jamais connaît que le besoin encore pour la fond programme ou bien pour la fond setup. Scholarship ça est toujours bon pour tout le monde yo gagner, spécialement si a continuer étudier pour être capable avancer dans vie yo. I mean, go ahead and set the information again for us to wrap up.
Absolutely. So once again, you can visit our website at www.miamifoundation.org/scholarships with an S at the end. Also, myself and the rest of our scholarship team this week, next week, all the way up to the deadline have made ourselves available if you have questions. So even if you're going through the application, there's something you don't understand, you can give us a call. You can email us. Our information is all over.
What is the phone number they have to call?
The phone number, I don't know the direct number.
Okay, but on the website,
address, yes,
the email, email, if you should, because these days, this is what people do. If you have a question, you should email, and then ask in the question, and then you guys are there.
Yeah.
Right away, we're going to answer the question.
Within 24 hours,
if we have to make a call, we make a call, but email, make sure that you email that information for people to be able to get it. Anything else we forgot to cover?
Yeah, absolutely. I also want to mention, if you're an educator listening into the program right now, or if you have some type of after-school program where you work with students, we will come to your program and talk about the scholarships. We can come virtually. We can come in person. We can come with the different, paper applications to go through it with the students. It's best that if you want to set this up, the students have access to a computer so they can go on the application while we're there. But if they don't, that's fine. And then even after that, we're available to answer any questions. So from now until the 13th,
okay,
that's a Friday, if you want us to come to your school, you want us to come to your program that is, student-facing, we will come out. Or do it virtual.
Okay, mais yo vin ajouter l'autre bagay là encore si ou c'est sou gon groupe ti moun wap travailler ensemble avec yo aftercare ou bien ou non l'école que wap teach ti moun yo so ou capable pousser yo pour yo capable faire application ça et si nous relè Miami Foundation si nous aller dans miamifoundation.org/scholarship n'a besoin toute information en bas pour nous capable relè ou bien voyon email ba yo pour yo capable faire présentation pour même pour n'importe yo capable faire par Zoom ou bien yo capable faire wider yo vinn dans l'école là pour yo faire présentation qui dit mieux n'a besoin toute opportunité ça et gagner les offert ti moun nan chita là et puis gain possibilité pour jeune scholarship ça yo et puis plein on dit pas gain l'argent pour foncer de bagay pour lui alors mais une opportunité d'or pour capable voyer ti moun nan joindre ti extra pour le capable faire éducation pour le capable avancer avec éducation. So Joanne, it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for
a lot of information. We cover a lot of
information. It is a lot of information, but it's needed for the community.
Yes. So just go right ahead. Go to miamifoundation.org/scholarship for you to get the information. And I will be at the office from Monday to Friday, 305-940-1580 if you guys wants to call because there's something you didn't understand. I'm not going to be able to explain everything to you. I will refer you to Joanne. And then for her to be able to give you all the information. And with that, anything else, Joanne? Because we're closing up. That's a wrap.
Yeah, I think we covered a good amount.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Jean-Robert, to be your assistant on the board. Nam di merci en pile à Miami Foundation qui était ensemble avec nous aujourd'hui, à Joanne, qui t'a parlé de scholarship. Égal, pas oublier pour nous faire application, pour nous capables faire ti moun yo joindre l'argent, parce que l'argent là, fait yo joindre l'argent. Tant pis, s'il vous plaît. Merci en pile. Bon dimanche. À la prochaine. Ciao, ciao.